Good day, good morning, everybody. I'm here with Marko Brajković from the company Lively Roasters. He's the founder and CEO. And I can tell you that Lively Roastery is a 100% privately owned company, founded back in 2015. So we are talking about almost a decade of doing business in the field of coffee. And they are a professional producer and supplier of specialty coffees. And they invest in development and knowledge of roast highly quality green beans, 100% Arabica. Is that correct, Marko?
Yes, everything is correct. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So once again, welcome. And let's maybe do a just briefly short interview to expand a bit broader the talk about sustainability in general. Maybe you can start by telling us a bit about your company, Lively Roasters, and the journey you've taken towards building this sustainable coffee business. Why this business? How did it start?
Okay, thank you. So you said a lot up front. My history is like 23 years ago now, when I became a technician for the coffee machines, when I fell in love to them as a machines, and of course in the coffee, since at the time we didn't had any good source of great coffees in Croatia and even in Europe. After a decade doing business with the commodity coffees, I noticed that the future are the specialty coffees. So I opened my company, I founded my company 1 decade ago, almost 9 years ago. So I knew it was too early, but I also knew that I need to build awareness and the image around it. And also I knew that if we want to have the whole circle, we have to collaborate directly with the farmers from the coffee farms, and that we need to pay the fair price. Because when I did the commodity coffee, it was all about the price. Pay less, charge more. So in these cases, many times the farmers didn't have the food on the table. So when I visited Ethiopia 2012, I really saw that they have a great coffees. They sell their coffee at the time. They sold the coffee per kilo for less than 30 cents. And the same coffee in Europe reached up to 20 euros per kilo. So it was not fair. Yeah, it was not fair to them. So I will never forget the first coffee farm in Ethiopia I saw. We were in a van, so we saw the coffee on the left side, and small, it's not houses, it's like, the place when you put your bike or something like that. Small building, not building, I don't know the word really. So there was not flooring inside. They slept on the bags on the floor, on the ground. So there were like a father and a mother and 12 kids, and they had something like, I don't know why, but they had also the oldest goat inside. And the kids didn't have any toys. They played with the stones and something what they found on the floor. So I found that really unacceptable to the people who are growing the best coffees in the world. So this changed my point of view, and I changed my business to the specialty coffee. And today we are doing business with the Costa Rican farmers. I know the farmers, I know the father, the son, the daughter, everybody. So we are paying the fair price to them, which is, we can tell to anybody the price we pay. And we want to have them a really good life. And we want them to put the kids in the school, to educate everybody around themselves, and to make great coffees decades after we go to retirement also. So this is our point of view, and this is our value we want to follow.
Okay. Maybe following up on what have you said so far, but you already answered half of the question, would be how do you determine fair payment? And what would you say, besides educating the children, etc., what impact has this had on the farming communities in general?
So when they have a fair paid price, they can fair pay the pickers, they can fair pay everybody, and they have also enough amount of money to live through the year to take the new knowledge and to grow new trees. So growing new trees of coffee is very important since we want to also have new varieties of coffees in future. And if we are not going to grow new trees, the current trees will also stop growing coffee after 10 years. So every coffee tree gives a cherry after 4 years, but after 10 years, the cherries are gone. You know, the tree is not anymore good for the coffee. So this is also very important if we want to avoid lack of coffee in future.
Okay, interesting. So when you've mentioned this, we are basically talking about improving farm practices and
Yes.
educating farmers. Is there any other aspect besides this tree factor in terms of how do you improve how do you, as lively roasters, support the farmers?
Well, we also support them with know-how. You know, we have they are the first and the most important people who have the coffee beans, the coffee cherries. But we are the ones who are roasting the coffee and who distribute the coffee to the coffee shops. And the coffee shops are the ones who are preparing and brewing the coffee. So they know one end of business and we know the other end of business. Just if we combine our knowledge, we can be very good in our businesses and what we do. So this is the collaboration between the farmers and us. Sharing knowledge is very, very important. So this is why we wanted the farmers, the daughter of the main farmer. She visited Croatia 2 years ago. We wanted her to come here. So we paid a higher price for the green beans, so they have money to visit Croatia and Europe also. And in this case, she saw what are we doing with their coffee. So this is very, very important.
Okay, interesting. You've also recently transitioned from plastic packaging to rice-based packages. What challenges did you face during this switch, this transition, and what benefits have you observed since implementing the new packaging?
Yeah, that's a quite novelty, not just for us, but for the whole food service. So the most important thing for us was that the packaging have a certificate for the food service, because if we didn't have a certificate, we cannot use it. Many factories are trying now to substitute plastic with something else. So the rice paper is not the only one. But as we analyzed possibilities, we found rice bag, let's say, the best suitable option for us. So we had the same bags many years ago, different maybe design, but the same material. And we knew that we will have some issues with degassing of coffee for the example, because when you roast coffee, coffee needs to degas, and we also needed to find again a new approach of degassing outside of the bag plus the degassing inside of the bag, you know, because the coffee, you know, it's a fruit, it's a live product. It's not, you know, like Coca-Cola or something like that. So we had those, you know, issues we need to resolve. So, but we are happy that we reduced like 80% of plastic inside of one coffee bag. We are not a large producer like commodity like Lavazza, Ili, or somebody else, but we need to start. You know, everybody need to start. We as the small ones and also the big ones. So I'm happy when I see I'm happy when I see that also the big brands like Lavazza are starting to change plastic capsules to decomposed materials. So it's all about changing the problems in the world altogether.
So yeah, organic farming, let's say holistically from starting point to the end to the consumer, is a really, how can I say, important part, and you need to have some sourcing strategy. How do you ensure that the farms you partner with really do organic practices, and what other maybe benefits does it bring to both environment and at the end to the final product?
Well, yeah, well, it's all about that we need to trust to each other. We build our trust between the Costa Rican farmers and the lively roasters. So, unfortunately, I visited Ethiopia, and Ethiopia, let's say 80% of coffees are organic, but without the organic certificate because they don't have money to buy chemicals. Uh, but in other countries like Brazil, they can buy, so they are buying, and most of them are not organic, like in the whole Central and South America. But we built the trust with Costa Ricans, and we know if we purchase the organic, that we are 100% sure it is. So it's also very important to the ground, to the earth, that we use less chemicals in let's say farming the coffee in this case. Because why did they use more chemicals before? Because they were getting a lower price, and the very important thing for them was that they have a really high yield. So if they had a lower yield, they would also had a lower price, and they would reach problems for their lives. So in this case, we trust each other, and we really know it is like that, like they say.
Before that, we've talked about rice-based packaging. Are there any other emerging trends in terms of sustainability that you're excited about, that you want to see in the future?
Where, like I said, there are many companies, factories, who are now trying to make a substitute for plastic. Some of them are good, let's say recycled packaging from plastic. They sound good. But if you go deeper inside, you see other issues. So everything is quite new. It's not. We need to explore everything. So this is why we choose rice, because we know it's really by the looking at the certificate, we know it's really good. And maybe for in several years in future, maybe there will be some other very good materials, so we will switch then. At the time, we found rice as the perfect substitute for us as a company. But it's quite new. Everybody used plastic for, I don't know how many years, many decades. So
Yeah.
they cannot just switch to other great materials in several years. It's a process.
It's a process, and it can be complex, especially for big companies, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, then from your perspective as a boutique coffee producer, how important is for you this ESG, environmental social governance? And maybe are there any specific aspects of ESG that you prioritize besides the environment part, the beans and the fair payment? And packaging, of course, but are any other ESG aspects maybe?
Well, it's not just about us as a little company. So I think it's most about the mindset of the CEO, owner, manager, or somebody else in the same company, which can be also a large company. So we are trying to make the whole circle function well. So the small things like changing from 100% plastic to sorry, 100% plastic to rice, it's just one small step. You know, as we will find new ways how to help to everybody, then we will start to doing everything in our power.
You've mentioned other directors, CEOs. Do you think that there's a growing awareness or expectation from their side? How this awareness influence the coffee business, the decision making, and the practices itself?
Yeah, well, definitely rice paper bag is more expensive than the plastic one, but we have to accept that, and we have to find a way not to impact the final customer with this difference in price. We just have to have a 0.5% lower margin, but it's much easier for me than for somebody big. You know, bigger company, bigger numbers multiplies difference. It's an issue. It's a profit they will lose. But I think all the big companies have enough of margin, so they can just think about the world, not just by themselves. This is the mindset. Definitely, we need to implement, and it's very important that we have a good pressure from the European Union. You know, every single year we have a new things what we need to do, and then they will be forced to do something. You know, not 100% in 1 year, but something step by step. And let's say in a cosmetic industry, from 2025 January. It's recommended, it's not still like you need to, but it's recommended to avoid small packaging of shampoo and everything in hotels. It's so every time you enter the hotel room, you will see small packagings inside of the shower cabin. So in this case, we will lose those plastic, and they will have a, you know, like refill or something like that, which is also a great way to avoid lots of plastics.
Yeah, I totally agree. Then maybe last two questions for you for today. For enterprise companies, so that the big ones looking to integrate more sustainability into their ESG strategies and even ESG reporting, what can they learn from the practices of smaller coffee producers like yours, Lively Roasters? Are there specific examples or lessons that could be applied on a larger scale, you think?
Well, it depends which product do you sell. You know, we are just roasting the specialty coffee beans, and in that case, the roasting is very important for us. This is why we also bought lowering machine, the big roaster, and during that purchase we also try to find a roaster who uses less gas. So we use just 30% we use 70% less gas per one roast than the other roasters. So this was also this was also one of our main points when where we try to find a new roaster. So this is definitely good for the big ones, because in that case they will have a less emission to the air. This is also very important thing.
Interesting. Okay, finally, let's say the last question. What advice would you give to other smaller businesses or even startups looking to incorporate sustainability in their operations? Are there common pitfalls to avoid or key steps to take to be more sustainable?
Well, it definitely depends on the business. So I can just speak about the coffee. But if there is somebody who have a passion to coffee and want to grow a business, start to roast, definitely they can start from zero with 100% of mindset to everything with what is important today. So I would recommend not to go the easier way, you know, plastic, the cheap roaster, and etc. So if you want to do business, just believe in yourself and apply all the all the steps you need to do to be great. Don't just do business to try to earn some, I don't know how many money, but try to see a bigger picture.
Wow, that's a nice, I would say, a nice message. Not just to look into the money and profit, but to be sustainable and try to do try to leave a better world behind you.
Definitely, we will, you know, I have a kid who is 15 years old, so he need to have a good life in future.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Marko, thank you for today. And hopefully we will do an even broader and nicer interview in the near future with you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.